misty like the purple haze. I don't know where we're going, but the clues that you are throwing are leading me back home to you. 'Cause you got me feeling high, like I'm lucid dreaming about the flying. Yeah, 'cause I can't believe that I get to have you close on an endless road of comforting. One of those lucid dreams. Oh yeah, one of those lucid dreams. Hey, I don't get what this is about. You got my head spinning on my shoulders. I feel a burn inside of my chest. See the lines as they blur out. I can feel it knocking me out.
And we are live. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me. I'm checking out the chat here, and it looks like actually I need to update the chat on my screen so I can see your comments here. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. So today we're going to be talking about YouTube taxes. I know that a lot of you have questions. Recently I did a video where I was talking a lot about the income that I generated in 2019 on YouTube. If you want to check out that video, it's going to be linked in the description, and in the replay of this, it'll be in the info card. But today I wanted to talk to you and do a session about YouTube taxes. I'm going to answer a couple of basic questions about it. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor or a certified public accountant, and so you want to do your own due diligence and you want to talk to a financial professional about your taxes, your financial situation, anything like that. Don't just take advice from people on the internet. So make sure that you guys are doing that. This video is for entertainment purposes only. With that in mind, I am going to be getting to your questions a little bit later, but I do want to present you with some basic information that I think you'll find very helpful, that will be of benefit to you if you're trying to sort this out and you're a content creator who recently started making money on YouTube, either through your YouTube monetization, or you started doing that through things like merchandise or affiliate marketing. So again, I just want to get some of those things out of the way, and I just want to do what I can to provide you some information. This is going to be based on my experiences and my own pain points in dealing with this, because you know, it's the thing that probably causes most of us as content creators the most anxiety once we start making money on YouTube. Once our stuff is successful, we have the fun problem of dealing with our taxes and our finances, and having to become a lot more educated about that than we anticipated. So one of the first things I definitely want to bring up is the fact that you must pay taxes on your YouTube income. I know that a lot of people like to say that YouTube is the best job ever, and I want people to stop calling YouTube a job. And it's not because I'm diminishing the hard work that being a content creator is, especially a full-time content creator. I know that a lot of people will say, well, YouTube's not a real job, and they're just trying to be dismissive. What I'm trying to say is that it is not taxed in the way that a job is, and is not treated financially by the IRS the same way as regular wage-based income, and you don't have the same protections and things in place as a regular employee that works at a traditional job. So in that context, we need to stop calling YouTube a job, because it just makes it complicated when you start thinking about things like taxes. You need to think of being a YouTube content creator as being the same as being a self-employed person and an entrepreneur, because that's actually more accurate and closer to what's happening. And when you speak to your tax representative, when you speak to your financial advisor, they're going to tell you much the same thing, that this is 1099 income that you're getting, and that it's going to be taxed as a self-employed venture. So you're going to be operating under the same purview financially as a freelancer. Some of you who may be familiar with me, know that I worked as a full-time freelancer before I was ever a YouTuber. I did that in the early days of my content and my career. Today, I am an entrepreneur with multiple online ventures and online businesses. And so I'm speaking from that experience here. And so that's why I kind of want to talk to you guys about today, because I think it's just really important to treat YouTube like what it is. And if it's not a hobby for you, if it's not just a fun hobby where you're making a few extra dollars, you really need to treat it like a business. And so we're going to get into that today, and I'm going to recommend some resources for you. And I really just want to help you guys become a little bit more educated about this. So let's go through some of the basic questions that I know a lot of people have. One of the first things we have to talk about is the fact that you must pay taxes on all of your YouTube revenue. This includes your YouTube AdSense earnings. This includes your YouTube super chats if you are live streaming like we are today. And this also includes anything you earn from channel memberships. You also have to pay taxes on your YouTube related ventures. This is going to include your merchandise. By the way, we have new merchandise in the merch store down below. You can also check that out at rblake.me/merch. I'll link to it for you guys. But we have merch. And when we have this merchandise, well, we have to pay taxes on that and all of the side revenue generated from YouTube. The same thing with any affiliate marketing. If you're using Amazon affiliate links, you have to pay taxes on all of this. And the form that you are going to get from YouTube or from Teespring and from PayPal and from Amazon is going to be a 1099 form. Now, I did a video with my friends over at TurboTax about this last year. Last year, TurboTax gave us some great info. They helped me sponsor a video. And so if you're wondering about 1099s and deductions, I highly recommend you watch that video here on the channel. I also did something about YouTube taxes and some things that can help you save some money on that. But you need to pay taxes on all income that is earned through YouTube, and that's whether it's the AdSense, the Super Chats. You also have to pay the taxes on any of your sponsorships and your brand deals. And again, this is going to be counted as self-employed income. Now, like I said, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a certified public accountant, and I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not somebody who is certified in the U.S. tax code. I'm a U.S. citizen, I pay my taxes, usually late, and I'm someone who's been doing this for a number of years, and so that's where my experience is going to be coming from here and how I'm going to walk you through this. One of the other important things is with you being taxed on this income, you should be saving money for your YouTube taxes and for all of your self-employed income because you are a self-employed person. Now, the difference between your regular job that you might have been working prior to YouTube if you're a full-time content creator, or even again, if you're doing this as a hobby but you're making money, the thing that you need to know is that you are responsible for everything. So if you are doing YouTube full-time, and you've left your 9-to-5 job, first of all, congratulations. Second, what are you thinking? And third, it's going to be all right, I hope. But the main thing with leaving your 9-to-5 job to do YouTube, the one thing that I will definitely tell you is that taxes are bigger than you think. The take-home check that you've been getting, you should not be doing YouTube full-time if you're just making the same pay that you were making from the job and the same salary, because you are going to be taxed differently. You're going to be taxed as a self-employed person if you have not structured the business to do pass-through income as either an S corporation or as a LLC if you live in the United States. Now, if you live in Canada or the UK, I can't speak to the tax situation over there. And like I said, you need to get a certified public accountant. I also recommend a bookkeeping service. I use Bench for my bookkeeping service. I'm going to link down below. If you use my referral link for Bench, you get 2 months of free bookkeeping, I believe. I think that's the promotion that's running. And so if you do decide to go with them and become a paying customer, I get a small commission. I think I just get credit toward my account, but I'm paying for bookkeeping. I believe I'm paying about $170 or $150 a month, something like that. I prepaid for the year. And so that's how I did my bookkeeping. And so I know what came into my business, what went out from my business, and it's something that's going to help my my certified public accountant help file on my behalf and get me the maximum deduction so that I pay the legally minimum amount of taxes. I want to pay the legally minimal amount of taxes that I'm obligated to pay to the federal government, and you also have to pay the state government. If you're fully self-employed as a YouTuber, and again, do your own due diligence on this, but you have to remember that you are responsible for things like your Social Security, you are responsible for state taxes and for federal taxes, and again, you're going to be operating as a self-employed person. So it's very important for you to educate yourself as much as possible, and I would not recommend doing your taxes yourself as a self-employed person and as a YouTube content creator. I would highly recommend that you hire a certified public accountant or you hire a service. Now, in the past, when I was first starting out, I used to just do the regular thing. I used to go to my local H&R Block and things of that nature. So for me, what I did later when I became a little bit more savvy was, I got an accountant. Now, since then, I've switched accountants, and you'll go through sometimes year to year, you might end up finding that you want somebody that's a little bit more savvy when it comes to things like entrepreneurship or social media. If you get an accountant that is not familiar with how money is made online, then sometimes you might overpay, or they may not get you all of your deductions. So do some research and find a certified public accountant that you're comfortable with, or a tax filing service that you're comfortable with. I recommend for bookkeeping, I recommend Bench. For taxes, you can use TurboTax. They have great people over there. I've partnered with them before. I've had them do stuff for me. So you can do that, or you can hire a direct accountant yourself. Now, when it comes to your taxes, you need to count all of the income, and that's why bookkeeping is important. You need to count all of the income that was coming in so that you aren't, audited, and so that people don't feel like you're concealing income. If you got money for brand deals, you need to count that in the money. If you got AdSense revenue, your super chats, if you got any money from this venture, you need to be counting that. There's also a lot of deductions, so you want to also keep track of what you spent on your business. Now I'm going to pull something up. I'm going to try to enlarge it so you guys can read it as easily as possible. So this is a list of tax deductions for the US, and you can find this at Bench. Like I said, I do have a referral link down there, but they have this free information. I'm going to try and enlarge this so that you guys can follow along if you'd like. But there are a lot of different tax credits that you can get, and they might be helpful for you. And you have to also learn a little bit about the taxable income that you have and what your tax bracket is. So there's all kinds of opportunities. I'm going to see what I can do about clicking on their list of deductions here. So these are the top deductions for small businesses like yours and mine. So advertising and promotion. If you did advertising for your merchandise, let's say you did merchandise or you did product sales. If you bought ads in Google, Facebook, or Instagram, you can deduct the advertising, and it's 100% tax deductible. Business meals are, but be careful with this and make sure they're provable. Make sure you're not trying to get around that. Any business insurance, if you have business insurance, you should be trying to protect yourself from being sued. I would definitely recommend you get business insurance, and that's deductible as well. Business interest and bank fees. So if you have a business credit card, that is deductible. The business use of your car. If you used your car to go to a collaboration or a photo shoot, or you decide to go to VidCon, then guess what? You can deduct that from your taxes. And again, remember, these are the deductions that are 100% deductible. Depreciation. So if your camera gear is old and you've had it for like a year or two and everything, you can claim depreciation on that. Same thing for your laptop and your other business hardware. Education. Let's say you decided to do one-on-one coaching with me, okay? You can do that at awesomecreatoracademy.com. Or let's say you bought my Formula for Awesome Videos course. If you did any of that, then any of your coaching, courses, seminars, Skillshare, all of that can be counted under education for you as a business owner, and that's 100% deductible. Your home office, anything that your home office supplies, your printer ink, all of that stuff is deductible. We talked about interest, legal and professional fees, filing your taxes, filing and incorporating your LLC. All of those legal and professional services are counted. If your office moved, let's say you moved your business, you'd be able to count those. If you're renting an office, you'd be able to count those. Salaries for your employees, if you have them, that counts. Your travel expenses, like I said, if you're doing a collaboration, you're going to VidCon. Are some of you saying you're having audio problems? Is there a problem with the audio for you guys, or it looks like in the chat everything is fine. So just checking on that for you guys real quick. But yeah, it's saying it's fine for you. Okay, great. So travel expenses and there are some personal expenses. I'm not going to drill down into that too much. It talks about here, but again, there are all kinds of things and deductions for advertising, like hiring a graphic designer. If you decided to have somebody do a logo for you for your merchandise or for your YouTube channel banner, guess what? That's advertising and promotion. Business cards, that's advertising and promotion. Launching your new website. I launched a new version of my blog, and so that is something that is deductible as well. Now, I did over on robertoblake.com/blog. I'm showing it here. I did my YouTube income report, and I did a video about this recently. I showed you the breakdown of my YouTube ad revenue and some other revenue streams tied to YouTube. It's not my full earnings across my entire business, but gives you an idea of what I make as a content creator. And I talked about a lot of the details of that. So you can check that out at the blog. I believe I've linked to it in the description, but you can just go to my website. But I had this whole new website designed, and this is something that I got to as a business expense. I got to deduct this as a business expense. So launching a new website and hiring somebody to do that counts. Now, there's a lot that, goes into some of these deductions. They talk about the business meals and when you can deduct that and what the eligibility is for that. It can't be lavish or extravagant. It must be ordinary and necessary part of carrying on the business, and the business owner or employee must be present. So you can do that, and you can also deduct 50% of providing meals to your employees, like if you buy pizza when the team's working late. So again, this is a lot of great information and education for you from Bench. I use business insurance. I highly recommend you guys do that. I want to go down into some things that are a little bit more questionable for some of you. Like, what if you use your car for business? Well, it has some details here. And the main thing is you can't use it for your day-to-day travel. It has to be directly related to the business. All right. Like I said, any seminars, courses, subscription services, one-on-one coaching, any of that is 100% deductible. And so just really think about that. Like I said, clients who work with me, they can deduct that. If they buy one of the courses, they can deduct that. And I think a lot of the rest of this is really obvious in terms of how it works and what things are deductible here. So these, again, are the main things that you can deduct from your business. Okay. Now, for business owners, when it says personal tax deductions for business owners, that's if you are doing like a Schedule C, and that's a little bit more complicated, and it includes a lot of different things. If you do charitable contributions, a lot of you donated to Team Trees. I donated as well. Guess what? We get to claim that against the business. So again, there are a lot of these things. One of my favorites is retirement contributions. So anything that goes into your retirement plan, if you're a YouTube content creator if you are a small business owner, you really need to be setting aside stuff for your long-term investments and retirement. Now, we have a lot of options as business owners. In addition to a regular IRA or a Roth IRA, you do get the ability to do what is called a SEP IRA or a self-employed pension plan. And so for me, you get to do this in the United States. You may not get to do the same thing in Canada. There's something very similar. And I want to talk a little bit briefly about that. And then I want to answer a few of your questions. We will get to questions a little bit later in the stream here. And definitely thank you for your patience on that. I appreciate you. Let me double check something over here. But one of the things that I think is really important is the long-term retirement plans. These are tax deferred in many cases. So these are deductible for your taxes. You're not taxed on this income. So the income that you divert into a retirement plan, very important. Again, talk to your accountant, talk to your financial planner about this. But when it comes to a SEP IRA allows you to either put in up to $55,000 for the year, and that's tax deductible, or 25% of your gross overall revenue for the business, whichever is the lower amount. You heard that right. Either $55,000 or 25% as of this year, whichever is the lower amount, and you can deduct that from your taxes when you file, because your retirement plan is tax deductible. Now, with the Roth IRA, which is very different, is that with the Roth IRA, you're paying on that now, but you're not paying on it when you take it out. You can only donate to that, I believe in the year 2020, it's either $5,500 if you're under 50 or $6,000. I'm leaning to it being $6,000, but you might want to double check. And again, this only applies if you live in the United States. If you live somewhere else abroad, it'll be very different, but you need to look into what the tax code is for retirement where you live. Now, in my case, what I am doing, and you can do this or you can do it a different way, is I currently am donating money into both my Roth IRA and into a traditional IRA. For both of those, you only can still combine, reach whatever the maximum cap is. So that means that if it's, let's say it's 6,000 is the maximum cap for my age, if I want to, I can put 3,000 into my Roth IRA, which isn't taxed until I pull it out for my retirement. It's not taxed at my retirement. It's taxed now. My traditional IRA will be taxed when I retire, but I don't pay on it now. So I can split the difference there. And I'm doing that for just a very specific reason of how I invested on both of those things. But the big tax saver for me as an entrepreneur is to put money into my SEP IRA, my SEP. So I highly recommend that you guys take advantage of that. And then, of course, you want to invest that. You'll do self-directed investing, or if your bank offers a robo-advisor or a management service, you can look into that. I don't like fees, so I self-directed invest that stuff because I don't do fees. So yes, the SEP IRA allows much more, 25% of your overall income or $55,000 per year. And again, that's tax-free. But if you do that, it's whichever one is the lower overall amount. So that is very important. Now, someone is asking, can you claim your gear on your taxes? Yes, you can claim your gear, and as it gets older, you get to get some depreciation value on that deducted as well. So again, this is the kind of thing you will want to go over with your certified public accountant. You'll want to go over this with whoever's filing and preparing your taxes. And again, the bookkeeping service that helps me keep track of all of this, they're not sponsoring today's video, but it's Bench, and we have a link for them in the description. And like I said, you get a trial of that. I believe it's 2 free months right now as of the recording of this. So I highly recommend them. I'm happy with the service because just seeing what goes in, what goes out, and not thinking about myself and knowing that that's taken care of and that I have a team and I have software, I just don't want to think about it. One of the things that I ruthlessly did in 2019 was I outsourced my legal stuff, I outsourced my bookkeeping, I outsourced anything that was very important with regard to financial services and when it came to anything with my business. I also would recommend that you look at what type of incorporation you want to do. If you have a YouTube channel and you want to pay less in taxes, incorporate as a pass-through entity to claim the maximum deductions and to pay the lowest legal amount that you can for your taxes. Whatever you are legally obligated to pay the legal limited amount. I incorporate an LLC for my business, and that is something that provides me more deductions and helps a lot. So I have an LLC. For some of you, you will do an S Corp. If you're in the United States, you probably will be doing an LLC, but it will be an S Corp tax declaration. Again, talk to your certified public accountant about this, talk to your CPA about this, and that will be very helpful. But like I said, I have an LLC, which is a limited liability company, but I get protections for that, but my tax declaration is the same as an S Corp. So I have an S Corp declaration. Now, for me, there are reasons I went with a limited liability company, and most YouTube content creators and most freelancers will go with this type of business structure. Okay? So that's very important. Now, even if you are not monetized on YouTube, but you're earning from your merch, okay? If you're earning for your merch, or you're earning from your Amazon affiliate links or anything like that, or you're getting PayPal donations, or you're using the Buy Me a Coffee app, if you're earning any of this self-employed income, then you need to report it to the IRS and you will need to count it in your tax filings. So that is important. I chose to incorporate under a business name rather than my name. And I think for legal purposes that's appropriate for many of you. And so you might want that separation. Now, with regard to some of these taxes, you also have to look at the fact that you're going to be paying federal taxes and you are going to be paying state taxes. There are a few states that don't have state taxes if you live in the U.S. And I believe that those states are Washington, Nevada, and the state of Florida. California and New York tend to have the highest taxes. So I don't really recommend moving to California for your YouTube career unless you decide that you want to give up about 40% of your income in combined overall taxes. Then you can move to California because you want the collabs and you think it'll be good for your career. But I genuinely believe that you should move to a tax-friendly state of some kind. So that's just my personal opinion. You can obviously live and do business wherever you would like, but you have places like Washington, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida that don't have state taxes. I live in Georgia, and so in Georgia, we only have 6% taxes. That was roughly the same when I lived in North Carolina as well. And so it's minimal income taxes for me in the good old state of Georgia. There are also several deductions for small business owners in Georgia. I need to do some filing that also allows me some things as a minority business owner as well. There may be some things that you can benefit from if you happen to be a veteran. If you're a minority, if you're a female entrepreneur, you're a veteran, look into your city and state guidelines and see if there are not only tax deductions for you, but also if there are other benefits and other grants as well for you. You also can get some tax credits based on those things, as well as taking on interns and then allowing them to gain credit for their college or their high school with that. So there are a lot of ways to find more deductions. And like I said, talk to your CPA. They will help you with this. They will help you figure out what is available in your state. They'll also help you get the maximum deductions, and they'll help you pick the right legal structure for your business and help you with incorporating. All right. So you're going to want to do that. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of people when they grow to a certain threshold on YouTube, they move out to California and they don't account for the increased cost of living as well as the increased taxes and a lot of the other things. So you want to look into that. We have Sarah. She says she's a disabled entrepreneur and she's gotten some really useful grants and also some tax stuff that's been really helpful for her. So again, you want to look into things that allow you to get the maximum deductions, and you want to hire a great certified public accountant. You want to make sure you're getting that taken care of. You want to use a bookkeeping service. I'm showing you guys the one that I use. I recommend it down below. They also do very good about educating you and keeping you up to date on this. And so that is what I think is really important. You want to file your stuff correctly and get the maximum amount of deductions. You want to incorporate your business. You want to look into having the minimum liability. You definitely want business insurance. I need to find a brand to partner with that offers affordable business insurance to entrepreneurs. If you guys know of a brand that's willing to do some sponsorships, it means we can talk more about that, and I can work with them and partner with them, and we can do a brand deal and some content around that. So if you know any businesses that provide insurance as a business for, like, small business owners, insurance, and they're willing to do some YouTube content sponsored, we can partner on that. Last year, like I said, I partnered with TurboTax last year. They've who I've used in the past for filing. When I haven't used an accountant, I've used them. It depends on what you want to do. My bookkeeping service is Bench. I'm linked to that down below. And like I said, you really want to make sure that you're hitting as much as you can on these tax protected accounts. So what are tax protected accounts? Well, you have your retirement accounts. Obviously, we talked about your IRA, your Roth IRA. We talked about the SEP IRA for self-employed pension that you can do. And like I said, I do cover this stuff when I do coaching clients, people that I do mentorship with. We talk about a lot of these things. We focus heavily in my coaching and in my courses. We focus on the business of social media, and we focus on the business of being a content creator. And a large part of that is making sure you're incorporated properly, your copyrights, your trademarks, your taxes, your liability insurance, your business insurance, and making sure those things are in place, how to hire and pay your freelancers, making sure you're getting them the 1099s that they need, things of that nature. And also, I talk a little bit about long-term planning with my mentees, my students in Awesome Creator Academy. That's my coaching program. That's my monthly program. We talk a lot about the future. And one of the things that I'm very heavily wanting to talk about in this channel in the near future is how I'm investing long-term to protect my income and for my retirement. And again, while I'm not a financial planner, this is not to be, advice that you take without doing your own research and your own due diligence. Talk to a financial planner, talk to a professional, talk to a CPA. For me, what I'm investing in long terms is stocks and real estate, aside from investing directly back into my business. I directly invest back into my business by building more products, outsourcing, hiring, doing things to grow the business. And then long term, I put my money into very safe index funds. I do S&P 500 and Vanguard index funds. And then REITs is how I invest in real estate. So that is very important. For those of you asking, I won't be deleting the stream as long as the stream works and YouTube doesn't screw it up. The stream will be available. You'll be able to watch the replay. If YouTube screws up, we'll have to do this again. But the thing that I definitely encourage you to do is to educate yourself as much as possible about personal finance. Talk to a financial planner at your bank. You can find a financial advisor usually at your local bank or your local credit union, and they'll give you at least a rudimentary education. There are obviously channels you can watch on YouTube, but I'd rather you talk to a professional. And again, when you're filing your taxes, you want an accountant, and what's going to help your accountant is if your books are in order. I cannot stress enough how much agony I went through having to do my books myself. And so I invested in bookkeeping. Like I said, I pay about, I think, $150 or $170 a month for qualified bookkeeping, and I can ask them anything I want. I can go and get customer service and talk to a real human being, and I can message them as much as I need to, pretty much in real time. So the service I use is Bench. It's linked down below. Get yourself a free trial of that. See if it's to your liking. If you want to use something else, let me know how that works out too, and so we can give people more recommendations. But it's what I'm using. It's what I'm happy with. I don't have headaches from it anymore. And like I said, I recommend you don't do your filing yourself. I recommend you get an accountant and that you pay for somebody qualified. And I also recommend that you look into somebody that knows about online business and maybe is familiar with social media so that they understand that this is a viable and legitimate business. I know that people don't take YouTube seriously, but I need us to stop calling YouTube a job and treat it and refer to it as a business. If it's not a hobby for you, it is a business, and you just have to remember it's not taxed like a job, it's taxed like a business. When you're an employee, you get a W-2 form and they do taxes taken out for you, and they pay your health insurance, hopefully, or at least part of it, and they pay your Social Security, and they pay your state and federal taxes out of your income, out of your wages. YouTube is not wage-based income. YouTube is considered self-employment income, and YouTube will send you a 1099 tax form if you earned money from YouTube AdSense. The same is true for PayPal, and the same is true for things like Teespring, Amazon, all of that. If you're using Stripe, all of that, okay? Now, that's really important. Remember that you can deduct things like your tax filings, that's deducted. Your business insurance is deducted. Your camera gear is deducted. Someone's asking, what am I using for this live stream? All my camera gear is linked down below. This is the Sony A6600. I spent about $1,200 on that on sale. I'm using my $1,800 24 millimeter lens. It's overkill, but it looks really nice. And I also like this setup going forward for some of the stuff in my online courses. So this is something that I think is very good for you guys to, have as equipment if you want to do high-end live streams, but it's not cheap. I'm also using the Cam Link. Like I said, those things are down below. So what I do is this. One of the questions that is being asked here is separating bank accounts, separating income made online, and things like that. Here is what I do and what I would recommend to anybody who is asking me personally, okay? The way that I approach it is I have what might feel like an absurd amount of bank accounts, but I separate it on purpose for a reason. So my income comes from my business ventures online. It includes my coaching program, Awesome Creator Academy. It includes my affiliate earnings from different places, whether it's Amazon or whoever else. And it also includes, obviously, my YouTube AdSense income, as well as my brand deals. All of that goes into a business account that is tied to my tax EIN number, my employment income number, my employer income number. So I have my tax EIN number because I am an incorporated business, and I have a bank account, a business bank account that is tied to that. So all of my income that comes from my business goes into a business bank account. I also have an account that is set up directly for my taxes to be paid out of. So I have a business account and I have a tax account, okay? So that's a business checking account. All of my business income goes in there, and also all of my business expenses, anything that's recurring, my software, my services, it's auto paid out of that account. So business income comes in, business expenses go out, and that is the primary account for that. I also have a business credit card, and so that is specific to the business. Okay. The other thing that I do is I have a business savings account where I can go ahead and I can put some operating capital outside of expenses if I need something, there from the profits. The other thing that I do is I have a separate bank account for my own household expenses. So my household expenses are in an account, and all of my bills are to auto pay, so that's paid on time. I then have a personal account. This personal account is where I give myself money to spend guilt-free on things that are not business, that I want personally, that are not bills for the household or directly related to the business. So I separate that. Everything is separated. The household bills are separated. My own personal piggy bank is separated, and the business is separated, okay? So all of that is separated. I know it seems like a lot of accounts to manage. We're just getting started. In addition to that, I have that emergency savings account. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to try to get to a place where you have $10,000 in your emergency savings. If you can do that, I have a video explaining that's coming up that's going to explain, how I save money. But 60% of Americans don't have $1,000 in savings. So if you can do that, you are doing great. 80% of Americans don't have 10,000. So I would definitely try to get to that threshold if you can. So that's very important. So that's what I did. And also you want to minimize debt as much as possible and not rely on your credit cards. I use credit cards both personally and for business, but I use them basically to get free money, and I try to pay them in such a way that I don't deal with the interest. Now, in addition to having that personal piggy bank account, having an emergency savings account, having the business account, and having the household expenses account, I also have my investment accounts and my retirement accounts. So I have a SEP IRA, and you can usually you have to check each year, but right now I believe you can do about $60,000 or $55,000 if you're under 50 into a SEP IRA. You'll want to double check on that number, and that's tax deducted, so you're not going to pay taxes on that. I have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Haven't decided if I'm going to do a rollover, but right now I'm just splitting the difference on the maximum contribution to both down the middle, okay? So one of them I don't pay taxes on now, and one of them I do pay taxes on now to not pay it when I retire, all right? Now, in terms of investing those, you'll have to invest them at your own best discretion. The way I'm doing it is real estate investment trusts, which are REITs, and that's only about maybe 10 or 20%, and the rest is into usually Vanguard index funds with the S&P 500 and a few other things with Vanguard, and I like those. They're safe. It's what Warren Buffett recommends, so that's what I went with. I'll do a video about how I got started with investing because I've been doing this for a few years, but I want to give beginners some help, especially small business owners, because most small business owners do not realize that they need to be reinvesting their profits into their long-term retirement. And if you guys are YouTube content creators, YouTube doesn't last forever, and you also need to be investing the profits after you pay your taxes and your expenses and pay yourself something and do something nice for yourself. You need to be putting away money for your future and benefited from the compound interest, okay? If you got to a very fortunate position of being able to put away $100,000 and then you're doing that every year for 5 years, if you had an 8% return on compound interest, if I look at the compound interest calculator, I think that comes out to about $877,000 out of that initial $1,000 principal, and then investing $100,000 a year over the course of 5 years. So you turned $600,000 into $877,000 on an 8% return with compound interest. It's practically free money. You do have to have risk tolerance to invest, so talk to a financial advisor, talk to your accountant, talk to the people at your bank. Don't just take advice from people on the internet. There are a lot of people out there selling hopes and dreams, but this I think is very important. I also spread my portfolio a little bit, so I'm using a few different robo-advisor investment apps and all kinds of things. So that's my system. I will be giving some of that out in Twitter. I'll also be making some future videos about how I manage my money as an entrepreneur, because I know that that's an important topic that's not shared enough. We're not trying to keep this information from you. Those of us who are full-time content creators, those of us who are successful, number one, most content creators on YouTube are not very business savvy or financially savvy. I came from the corporate world. That's why I know as much as I do. Not to mention I studied and learned from the best. And then I also talked to financial advisors, accountants, the people at my bank, and educate myself as much as possible. I've read books from people like Dave Ramsey, Ramit Sethi. I've talked to a lot of online entrepreneurs. I've been in my own, not only my own mastermind where I coach with people, but I've actually been part of a mastermind of successful six-figure entrepreneurs before. So that's how I come by my experience and my knowledge. And you have to really look at what your risk tolerance is for some of these things, but you basically will lose money if you don't invest it in something that will give you compound interest. I cannot stress how much I regret not knowing this in my 20s. I'm dedicating an entire video to every financial decision or every piece of things I didn't know that I wish I had financially in my 20s. It's an important video. I'm hoping to get it out in the next week or two. But the main thing that I would tell you in this entire equation is to make sure your business is set up and structured properly. So look into whether it's appropriate for where you are to do an S corporation or an LLC. So start with that. Also, find out the deductions available to you in your state based on your circumstances. Do you qualify for a small business credit of any kind? Do you qualify for a minority business owner credit, a disability credit, disabled entrepreneur, a veterans credit? Find out what it is that you qualify for. In addition to that, make sure you have your bookkeeping in order. Make sure you have your books in order. Doing your own accounting, terrible idea. You want to make that as easy as possible. I recommend Bench. I'm linked to them down below. It's a referral. If you decide to go with them, I get a small commission. I think it's a credit toward my own service. I pay about $150 or $170 a month for bookkeeping. You guys get 2 free months if you use the link. That's the promotion right now. Get yourself a good tax filing service. You can use Bench for filing as well, I believe. You could also use TurboTax, or you could have your own accountant do it. I recommend having a CPA look over how you're set up and help register and incorporate your business entity correctly. I also will remind you that your YouTube income, you have to pay taxes on it and you have to report that income to the IRS. And it's important. The same thing for all of your merchandise, all your affiliates, all of your sponsor brand deals, all of it has to be reported to the IRS. You have to file it correctly. You have to have your books accounted for, and you have to know how much that income is. And like I said, beyond that, I would recommend that you completely separate your business income and your business expenses in your bank accounts from your personal and household expenses. You also want to consider setting yourself up with payroll and paying yourself. I'm going to update the link in the description to the service I use. It's called Gusto, Gusto. If you go to robertoblake.com/Gusto, you can get a free trial there. The reason I use Gusto is if you hire freelancers and you pay them more than $500 US, you do need to account for that and you need to give them a 1099 form. So that's very important. Justin has a question. Could any of us write off your Awesome Creator Academy mentorship on our taxes? Anything that you pay for in terms of coaching, anything you pay for in terms of your books to learn this stuff, any seminars you go to, any of the events you go to, those are under education and you can deduct those as an expense. So make sure that you realize that educating yourself is a tax write-off. You just need to account for all of that. And yes, donations from PayPal and Streamlabs and Twitch and Super Chats, all of it is something that needs to be accounted for in your taxes. All of it. All of this income is taxable income. And as I said, you need to look into having a professional go over some of this with you. So look into a financial advisor or a certified public accountant. This video represents entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And so don't just listen to people on the internet. Hire professionals. Talk to people at your bank. Now, like I said, your investment in your retirement is the single largest place that I think that you will be able to get tax deductions from if you are profitable. If you're not, it will be from your expenses and from your general overall credits. So that's where your deductions are going to really come from there, but you need to account for everything and have all of your ducks in a row. You also are going to pay higher taxes if you just pay the self-employed income taxes versus going through a pass-through corporation like an LLC or an S corporation. So that's going to be very important for you as well. YouTube is not taking out taxes automatically for you. YouTube doesn't do that. YouTube is not an employer. YouTube doesn't send you a W-2. YouTube treats you as an independent contractor. And as an independent contractor, you are responsible for all of your taxes and all of your Social Security. So you're responsible for your federal income taxes, your state income taxes, your Social Security, all of that. YouTube is not your employer. YouTube is not a job. YouTube is self-employed income. YouTube is entrepreneurship. YouTube is independent contract work. YouTube is freelancing. Stop calling YouTube a job. It is not a job. It is not gainful employment. It is legitimate work, though. It's legitimate work. So I'm not delegitimizing it the way people say, oh, get a real job. But YouTube is not a job because you're not protected under the same conditions as an employee if you are doing YouTube. If you're doing YouTube, you do not have the protections that an employee does, and you do not qualify under the same tax exemptions or tax benefits as an employee. You do, however, qualify for a lot of benefits as an entrepreneur and as a small business owner, but you need to incorporate and file correctly. And again, having a CPA, in fact, will pay for itself with what you save in your taxes and in your frustration. So please make sure that you are counting any of your equipment. You want a bookkeeping service for this because your equipment, the microphones, the cameras, the lights, all of this counts as an investment in your business and can be deducted. And you will also benefit from the depreciation over time. Okay? So when we say a tax write-off, we're referring to something that you can deduct from your taxes. So something that will lower your overall income level that is taxable. So you end up paying a percentage of your taxable income. Taxable income is anything that basically is considered your profits. So an investment in the business ate away at your profits. So if you don't understand what we're talking about when we say a tax deduction or a tax write-off, we're saying that, okay, if this is 100% deductible, then I basically am writing it off as something that I invested in for the business, knowing that I won't be taxed on that money. So this is going to go against what I'm taxed, all right? So that's what we mean when we call something a write-off. A write-off is a slang term for a deduction. So it means it's something we're not thinking about. Now, when it comes to all of this, as I kept saying, get yourself a solid bookkeeping service and get yourself a certified public accountant and make sure that they're doing the proper filing for you. Now, when it comes to paying your taxes, you can pay quarterly as a small business owner and entrepreneur, or you can pay yearly. It's probably going to be better for many of you if you pay quarterly. You'll want to go ahead and take that out from your profits every single month. Now, in terms of saving and setting aside from that, you'll want to probably, to be safe, take 30% of what you're making and set it aside to pay your taxes. Because when you combine your overall taxes, which if you're a business entity, a pass-through corporation, could be up to maybe 25%, depending on the current tax code. So if you're watching this in the future, just look at the current tax code for the current year. And then you have to combine your state taxes, and then you have your Social Security as well. And keep in mind that if you are fully doing YouTube and self-employed, you're also paying for your own health insurance coverage. So you might want to look into that and see if there's even a way for you to get a group plan. Now, someone's asking in terms of deductions for clothing. unless it's your merchandise with your logo, because they changed the rules on entertainers. This administration kind of had it out for entertainers and for blue states. I'm not getting political. I'm just telling you the financial reality is the financial reality is if you live in a blue state, your taxes probably went up. And if you're in the entertainment industry, your taxes went up. So you can't fully deduct meals and you cannot deduct clothing and wardrobe anymore from your taxes. And so that's what this administration changed. I'm sorry that that's the way it is, but that actually hurts you as a YouTube content creator. The exception is that you can count merchandising with your logo and your brand as advertising. So it's an expense under advertising as a different deduction if it has your own logo or your own branding or whatever. So you cannot claim the clothing. And again, in many exceptions, you can't claim all of your meals anymore. So that's problematic, and that's something that you can thank the government for. You can thank this current administration for that. And so that's the way it is. Again, not being political. The numbers are the numbers. The money's the money. Now, in terms of things you can deduct, again, you can deduct education. You can deduct all your business expenses. You can deduct your hardware, obviously. You can deduct your software. You can deduct your services, and you can deduct the expense of your freelancers. So if you hire people on Fiverr or whatever, you can deduct that as well. And so that's really important. Now, going back to saving money for your taxes, setting that money aside. When you're setting money aside for your taxes, like I said, I recommend at least 30%, but you have to do your calculations on that and talk to your accountant and to your services. But the reason I say 30% is it depends on where you live. Now, in California, I believe they have, and someone correct me here, I'm almost positive about this. California has a state income tax, I believe, of something like 14%, right? Is that correct? Let me look that up in Wikipedia real quick. But I think I'm pretty sure that the highest tax is in California, and I think it's some insane amount, like 15 or 14%. Is that correct? Someone let me know if that's correct. Now, let's see. The states that have no state income taxes are Alaska. Alaska has no individual state income taxes. Florida has no individual state income taxes. Nevada has no state individual income taxes. Tennessee has a whole income tax levied at 3% on income received from stocks and bonds, but not taxed otherwise. So that's interesting. Texas has no individual income tax, but does impose a franchises tax on corporations. Washington has no income tax, but has a business occupation tax. Wyoming has no individual or corporate income taxes. And South Dakota has no individual taxes. New Hampshire has an interest and dividends tax of 5% and a business profits tax of 8.5% and a gambling winnings tax of 10%. So keep that in mind and realize that that is, in fact, the deal. Now, there are 8 states that have a flat rate individual income tax as of 2016. Colorado with 4.63%. Illinois with 4.95%, Massachusetts with 5.1%, Indiana 3.23%, Michigan 4.25%, North Carolina 5.75%, Pennsylvania 3.07%, and Utah 5%. So that is just important to note. Now, again, because we're talking about YouTube, I think it's important to find that California state income tax number. And so I'm going to look it up real quick. California state income tax. Let's see here. California state income tax. What is California state income? It looks like it varies, and again, they're doing it by these various brackets. And so that's important. By the way, it's that your taxes are incremental, so it is in brackets, but it can get very expensive depending on how much you make. When the more you start earning, it can get pretty up there. And it looks like depending on how much you make, you can end up paying 13% in the state of California. Like I said, here in Georgia, the state income tax is about 6%. So again, grain of salt. Now, what I look at is, Gifty Sene says, I live in California and it's 15 to 40%. I'm curious as to what conditions it's 40%. Is it 40% when you combine the state and the federal, or is it up to 40% period as a maximum? I'd really be curious about that with California. But my understanding is that, once you start earning over between $500,000 and $1 million, which sounds like a lot, but in California and for the California YouTubers, that's fairly normal, and that's gross. That's not how much they get to take home. So just kind of think about that. Those taxes can go up in California, so just understand that. It's a pain. It's a pain to have to think about this stuff. I know, but that's the good news about outsourcing it. If you just hire the right people, you don't have to really think about this nearly as much. And like I said, here in Georgia, the state tax is just 6%. The state tax here is just 6%. Now, to file an LLC, it depends on what state you're incorporating in. For some, it's very cheap. I wish that there was a mandate where federally, this is one thing where I think the federal government should enable entrepreneurship. I think the federal government should make it that incorporating a business is a flat rate of $200 regardless of what state you're in, because I don't believe it should be cost prohibitive to anybody to start a business and to become a job creator. So again, I'm not getting political here. I know we don't love the federal government and talking about that, but I just personally believe that one of the best things they could do for entrepreneurs is to make forming a business entity a $200 flat rate regardless of what state you live in, to empower people to become entrepreneurs. But since that doesn't exist, you could pay anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to incorporate your business depending on where you're incorporating in the country. So that's just something to know. That the good news is, though, you can deduct that fee for building your LLC out and incorporating. You can deduct that from your taxes. It is deductible. So just an important note there. But that's the main stuff that I think I wanted to cover with you. We talked about the importance of your retirement deductions, separating your business income from your personal income, your bank accounts. We talked about incorporating your business, filing an LLC. We talked about saving money for your taxes every single month. And we talked about paying quarterly taxes, and also that if you don't pay quarterly, you will have to pay yearly. If you're filing as a business, instead of filing April 15th, you will be filing March 15th. So it's more important than ever for you to get your ducks in a row and to really gain as much of your information for your tax purposes. Get your bookkeeping done, get all the accounting cleared, do it early because it's important. As for the fee for building out your LLC, it's not a yearly fee. It is a one-time fee for every business entity. For invoicing software, I'm going to recommend QuickBooks. If you want to do invoicing for your brand deals, you can use QuickBooks. Definitely recommend them. That's what I use. I also, again, am recommending Bench for bookkeeping, and you can use them for filing, or you can use TurboTax. Recommend either of those. You can also hire your own certified public accountant. So these are the main things that I think you really need to know about your YouTube taxes. You must pay taxes on your YouTube income, and that doesn't include just your AdSense. It's your AdSense, it's your Super Chats, it's your memberships, it's your merchandise. It is everything that has to do with your income that you're earning online, period, end of story. So again, very important. Why is the stream freezing? Can you guys see me? Hang on. Can you see me? yeah, I'm hoping that the stream is still going here, and I hope you guys can still see me. Frozen. Wondering what's going on with that. Let me look into it. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, you can hear me, but you can't see me. Let's try now. Let's try this. Can you guys see me now? Yes, you can see me now. Okay. I'm wondering what happened with that. Let me I don't know. I don't know what happened with the other camera angle, the better camera angle, but okay, great. So we're going to just kind of wrap things up more or less briefly here with regard to a few questions or any super chats. So, we've gone for an hour, and I think we've gotten a lot of information out there. Yeah, the other camera angle is better, but the other camera angle is also frozen for whatever reason. So until or unless I can fix that, that's a problem. And so I don't know what's going on with that. Let me try one thing with that real quick. So let me see if adjusting that fixed it in any way. Nope, that camera is still frozen. But anyway, it's not that it's very blurry. It's that the other camera was just better. So it's the other camera was just worlds better. If you guys are saying it's blurry, I mean, I guess I can always try wiping the webcam and seeing if that makes it a little bit better for you guys. Hang on one second. Maybe that's a little bit better for you guys. But yeah, I'll answer some of your questions. It's possible that the cam link overheated, so that could be the reason. But yeah, I'll answer you guys' questions regarding this. So Double Days Family says, what do you recommend to someone who is really close to monetizing to get started with finances? Well, if you're close to monetization on YouTube, I would start with increasing your income more than anything, but I would also keep track of all of your expenses as well. And so that's probably a very good place to start. Gifty says that in California, an LLC cost a yearly fee of $800, not a one-time fee. Okay, so that's different. In other states, it's a one-time fee. So that's not fun. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? Can you set up a YouTube channel under a 501c3 and be tax-free? So I have a little bit of familiar with 501c3s and things like that, but I am not comfortable to speak to that. I highly recommend that you talk to someone in the nonprofit space who has experience with that in a more real way. And I also recommend that you talk to a certified public accountant about that. But I don't think it'd be 100% tax-free, but you might want to look into that. Can you still write off office space? You can, but you really need to be in a position to prove it. And so if you're renting office space from another building or entity, then easy to count that and to do that. But if you have home office space, you need to make sure it's a dedicated office space that's used for business and nothing else. So people are saying, can you write off your home if you use your home as a studio? It has to be a dedicated space for the business with no other living situation and so on and so forth. So your bedroom, not going to cut it. You need a dedicated room that is in some way divided and partitioned, and you need to make sure you feel you're in a position to prove that. It does increase your chances of an audit, but only about 1% of Americans are audited. Age of Rogelio, thank you so much. Roberto, have you ever considered holding public office? You'd get my vote. No, you give up too much money and personal freedom and privacy to become a politician. I'm already a public figure, and I'd rather buy politicians than be one. Let's see. Who do you recommend to reach out to for accounting? So for accounting and bookkeeping, I use a company called Bench. I've linked to them down below, and you get 2 months to try them out and see if you like the service if you use my referral link. So you can take advantage of that. You can sign up for Bench. If you like it, I do get a small commission. If you don't, no hard feelings, but you get to try it for 2 free months and see if it fits your needs. If it doesn't fit your needs and you find a better bookkeeping service or accounting service, please let me know. We can get the community as many recommendations as possible. They're not a sponsor, so there's no brand loyalty beyond the fact that I use them. I even had them do my backup bookkeeping for the previous year, and I'm happy with them. So I recommend companies that I'm happy with. Gifty asks, are you a single owner LLC or a group? Difference between S Corp and C Corp. Again, I recommend a book. I'll link to it in the description. Let me see if I can actually grab it to link in the description now for you guys. I recommend this book, Start Your Own Business. I often recommend this book. I'm going to try and look up the current version of it and link to it for you guys because here it is. So this book on starting your own business breaks down for you better than I can every single one of the things that you really want to know in terms of the advantages here to any and all of this when it comes to when it comes to everything you really need to know as a business and what you really want to know about how all of this works. And what is the difference between these different entities? So, start your own business. So I just linked to that in the description. I'm going to drop it here in the chat for you. Start Your Own Business book. So that is an Amazon affiliate link for you guys. There you go. But this book, if you buy it, will tell you the difference between an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC. And yeah, you can write off the book as a deduction, but it will tell you a lot more in detail, everything you know to properly set up a business entity, everything you need to consider, and everything for the proper business and legal structure that you need. Let's see. $2 super chat. What if you aren't earning but still have expenses? If you're not earning but you still have expenses, start earning. You also can talk to your accountant. I believe you can file your expenses as a loss, and so you still have to file, but you'll just be claiming your losses. So keep that in mind. How much do you need to earn to pay taxes? For example, if I make $100 a month, you need to make any income that you earn known to the Internal Revenue Service or whatever the tax entity is in your country. So, yeah. Do you cover all of this in mentorship as well as ways to? I cover a lot of stuff in my mentorship. Any business questions people have, Awesome Creator Academy exists for the purposes of helping entrepreneurs that are creative entrepreneurs, so content creators who want to become business savvy. Awesome Creator Academy exists to help you make more money, get more traffic, and build a bulletproof business and brand online. That is the purpose of Awesome Creator Academy. It's to grow and build your online brand and business. It's not a YouTube help membership. It is a service and a membership that helps, and coaching that helps content creators become more profitable and happier in the brand and business that they built. So I talk a lot about this stuff, and I answer any and all questions. We focus a lot more on earning more income than paying taxes, because you don't really worry about how much taxes you're paying unless you're actually making money. So we focus a lot on making money. We do talk about managing it correctly and investing it correctly into our business and into ourselves. And obviously a part of that is not paying more in taxes than you legally have to, and just trying to make sure you're doing all of that correctly. So if you want to join Awesome Creator Academy, you can go to the link in the description. You can join us at awesomecreatoracademy.com if you want. And yeah, we'd love to have you and answer your questions in the group. Again, it's a group program, so you have me and you have the other business owners and content creators to lean on. You also have my operations manager, Andy Rivera, to reach out to. So we also do a lot of training. We do webinars and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I get to pay taxes on all of it. So there is that. So someone asked, I'm 19 and doing some online work, and I made around $300 this year, and I'm doing school. If you're in school, the odds are that your parents are claiming you as a dependent. So you'll talk to them. You'll talk to them. And they are probably claiming you on your taxes. Let's see. Yeah, if you're in school, the odds are your parents are claiming you on your taxes, and so that's the situation probably for you. Let's see here. Have I ever had random fans bump into me? Like, not really. I'm a very private person, and so I only meet fans at meetups and conventions and things like that. But again, mostly here I'm answering business questions and stuff that I can about taxes. Again, I encourage you to reach out to a financial advisor or a certified public accountant, anybody who's a professional. But I'm really not answering YouTubery questions right now as much as money questions right now. So, like, I'm not answering questions about meeting fans and stuff like that. Let's see, future taxes. Mine to Maid says, is the deadline the same for regular taxes as it is for business? So for businesses, everything is the calendar year. The fiscal year is something different. That's for like, I believe SEC filings. So that's a completely different thing for massive corporations. For us small business owners, we have to file on March 15th rather than April 15th. So you'll want to get ahead of that. If you're incorporated as an S corporation or an LLC or a C corp, you want to file March 15th, not April 15th. So keep that in mind as well. That's a little bit different. So are there any more questions in regard to this? Did we answer all of your questions about the accounting side of it, the bookkeeping side, the incorporation, the filings, the discounts, things like that? DJ Hollywood asked, do I use ACORNS? Yes, I do use ACORNS as one of my main portfolios for long-term investing in various stocks and index funds. In fact, actually, if you guys go to this link, robertoblake.com/acorns, you'll get $5 to invest in your Acorns investing account. So Acorns does a couple of things. It's a robo-advisor, and it also can just help you with saving and investing. One of the things I do is every single day, I use this roundup feature that Acorns has. So any of my spare change, like let's say I buy something and it's $2.50. Well, Acorns will take the other 50 cents and will invest it for me in my future by buying, fractional shares of stocks in a portfolio that's set up for me by a robo-advisor. So that's why I use Acorns as part of my long-term investment strategy. Now, I use a very aggressive strategy with Acorns, and again, you can use the link in the live chat. I'm also going to add it to the description for you guys. But the way I use Acorns, And like I said, if you use my link, no pressure, it's a referral link. You get $5 in your ACORNS account. I think I get $5 as well. I have to check how that works, but you get $5 to invest. And the way that I do it is this. I invest on a recurring daily basis, $35 every single day, because I know that means that I'm going to invest if I invest $35 every day, it comes out to $12,775 a year minimum that I've invested and put into the market. That is going to gain a return over time, and the interest is going to compound. So I use $35 a day. I also don't have to worry about market ups and downs as much because I'm daily in the market every day. So that's good for me. The other thing is with the roundups feature, you can do either of these or both. With the roundups feature, every time I spend money on anything, on any of my credit cards, bank cards, any of it, then if I spend like $2.50, the other 50 cents is invested into the market. Now you can also use multipliers with that, so you can do a 3x multiplier. So instead of 50 cents, it'll invest $1.50 for you or something like that. I'm aggressive, and so I went with 10x. I went with 10x. So I invest my money that way, and so it ends up being substantial for me. And then because the robo-advisor is mostly using its algorithm to put me into the best financial position for my future, I'm gaining compound interest on that over and over and over. So for me, I get compound interest off my stock investments. So I invest money from that every day. So every day I'm investing my financial future. I also, when I have larger lump sum profits, I invest those either through ACORNS or through M1 Finance. Sometimes I buy individual stocks in Robinhood. So I do that as well. And yeah, so that's how I invest in my stuff and my future long term. And it's really helpful because I also look at the robo-advisor and what's performing for me, and I use that to figure out what to invest in on my own based on its picks. So I do that, plus I do my own research. And for me, I mean, that's kind of a little bit fun for me. I like doing that stuff. It's like playing a video game. So for me, it's like it's playing a video game. But like I said, if you guys want to check out ACORNS, like I said, no pressure. It's totally free to sign up. And like, I don't believe there are like any fees or anything like that. And like I said, if you use my link, you get $5 to invest in your ACORNS account from them. I get $5 as well. And you can start learning a little bit more about stocks. And again, that's a referral link or whatever. For me, someone here said, Andre K said, there's no right or wrong time to invest in the market. I couldn't agree more. I'm just in it for the long haul. So that's it. Plus, with my regular bank, I do invest in my IRA. Like I said, I invest in my SEP, my self-employment pension plan. And I also have both a Roth and traditional, and I split them down the middle. And that's how I do it. Someone asked, Magnificent Tech says, as a small business owner, I pay taxes quarterly. Is there any difference on how they are paid? There's not a difference between paying quarterly and yearly aside from cash flow. What some people like to do is they like to hold their money for their taxes in a high yield savings account all year, so they make something back on it and then pay their taxes at the end of the year. Some people do that, some people don't. So for me, I have both Ally Bank, and I just opened an account with Goldman and Sachs Marcus because those are both high interest savings accounts. And so you could take advantage of that. If you are holding money, you could hold it in a high interest savings account. You're only going to get like maybe 1.6% on a high interest savings account. 2 would be outrageous. And but it's better than nothing. And in your regular bank account, you probably lose money. So, that's how I would do it. I went to like H&R Block for like the first couple of years, and then I started hiring people to do this stuff for me, and then I found services. Again, like I said, I like using H&R Block early on. I liked doing that. Now I wouldn't do that. It's better for me to file through either an accountant, if you have a social media savvy accountant and you're making a lot of money that way. If you're not making a lot of money, then maybe you can use one of those regular services, or you can use TurboTax. TurboTax is great. And for the bookkeeping, like I said, I use Bench because I don't want to keep the books anymore. The investing I do myself. I talked to a financial advisor, but I'm like really savvy, I think, arguably just because I get good returns. So that's why I do my own investing, and I do it self-directed because I have a good handle on that. But you have to be as educated as possible, and you have to have a decent amount of risk tolerance, and it's not for everybody. But it is the way the majority of people, at least in the United States of America, they made their money. Besides building a business, they invested their profits in stocks and real estate, and that's how people got wealthy in this country, and that's why the rich get richer, is because they're doing this and regular people are not. The difference between when I was a broke kid in my 20s and being successful in my 30s is the amount of knowledge that I managed to gain over a period of time by educating myself and listening to successful people and learning from their successes and failures. So that's how I did it. Maximal crazy gaming access. YouTube send you a tax form after making a certain amount. When you do Google AdSense with YouTube, you have to fill out your tax information, and they send you a 1099 form that is, basically your earnings and income as a self-employed contractor. This is what you'll be getting in place of a W-2 because you are not an employee. So you're not an employee of YouTube, you're an independent contractor, and that's why you get a 1099 form instead of a W-2. So you're going to be using that when you file. And so you'll be giving that to your tax preparing agency or your certified public accountant or whoever is doing that for you. Or you'll be using that yourself if you're doing it through something like TurboTax Self-Employed. So typically it is a 1099 miscellaneous. For other types of income, or if you do PayPal to accept payments, or if you do Stripe to accept payments, you'll be getting a 1099K. And so it's just a slightly different form, but yes, it's typically a 1099. I get multiple 1099s because I get it for my merch, I get it for Amazon affiliate, I get it for everything that I do. So I get a crap ton of 1099 forms. So you'll just need to be aware of that. You'll need to be aware of that. One of the last things with regard to investing, I want to tell you guys about Robinhood real quick. Again, they're not a sponsor or anything. I'm just going to link you to robertoblick.com/Robinhood, because if you go ahead and you use my sign up link for Robinhood, you get a free stock and I get a free stock. And I think that if you actually start looking into stocks, you'll start taking all of your money stuff seriously. I cannot stress that enough, that my biggest regret of my 20s is not having enough education about compound interest and the fact that I wasn't investing in my future. If I had understood that, I would have been more frugal than I was. I would have saved more money. I would have invested everything in my long-term future, because every dollar you spend in your 20s is worth $18 to 65-year-old you. Every dollar that you invest in your 20s is worth $18 when you're 65. So, you really need to learn more about investing long-term, about frugality and saving money. You need to embrace that and not buy stupid stuff. Like everything that I spend money on today is investment in my business or an investment in myself, my health, my personal development, and my long-term wealth. So, Simple Beth, I did put in a buy for those stocks on Build-A-Bear because they got the Baby Yoda stuff. So yeah, I did put in my buy. We'll see what happens. I threw a little bit, not a lot. I threw a little bit of money at that. Ruben, how's it going, homie? Yeah, Ruben knows me from back in my 20s. Ruben's known me for a long time. I think Ruben's known me for like over 10 years. And so, yeah, Ruben knows the deal. Ruben knows I came from like nothing. Ruben knows I came from nothing. So, you know, that's legit. Geekdom, what's up, brother? M1 Finance is great. I love M1 Finance for fractional shares. Fractional shares are amazing because it means most people don't get into investing long term because they think that they need thousands of dollars to be able to invest in the biggest companies in the world. But with stuff like M1 Finance, you can buy fractional shares. So if you even have $100, you can like invest in something like Tesla, for example. You won't get a full share, but you'll have money in the market. You'll be invested in Tesla. So that's why I like stuff like that. Technically T, what's up, man? So yeah, is Robinhood available in Canada? I'm not sure. You'll have to double check. Lisa Marie says, stop spending your time, thoughts, and money. Everything must be an investment. Neville Goddard. That's a good quote. Yeah, so like investing is very important for your long-term future. And so, yeah. So again, those are kind of the things that I look at. Like I said, incorporate your business correctly for YouTube. Talk to either a CPA or a financial advisor. You can also get the book. You can get that book that I told you about, Start Your Own Business, and it'll tell you the best type of business to incorporate for your situation. So Start Your Own Business book. So this is the Amazon link for that book. Very important book. And so that's going to help you. The other thing was incorporate your business, whether it's an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, whatever it is. Talk to your financial planner or your CPA. Ultimately, you want a bookkeeping service, or you're going to be keeping track of every receipt and every expense. I recommend Bench. They're linked down below. Use robertoblake.com/bench and you'll get 2 free months of the service. I have also linked to it in the description. When it comes to your separating your business money from your personal money, I recommend you get a business account tied to your LLC. And I also insist that you not spend business money out of your personal account and vice versa. You want your business and personal completely separate, and you want to put everything you can on auto pay. You want to make sure you set up your retirement accounts. Those are going to protect you the most probably from taxes. So you want to do that. Someone's asking about what it was for fractional shares. It's M1 Finance. Let me get you guys a link for that real quick. Wonder if they have any anything going on in terms of a promo. Probably not. Let's see here. I don't have a link for that right this second. I'll put one in the description, but it's M1 Finance. It's M1 Finance. So definitely look into Bench for your bookkeeping. Long-term investments of your profits. Again, take advantage of your retirement accounts and take advantage of a SEP IRA because you can save more money with a SEP IRA. And also, I would recommend looking at your Roth and traditional IRA and see where you're at just based on your age right now. So that's very important. And let's see. Also get insurance for your business, get personal insurance, liability insurance, get disability insurance, all of it. Hi, luxury card store, a little something towards your short-term disability insurance policy, former financial advisor and currently an insurance agent, but not licensed in my state. Okay, cool. I like that. That's cool. Eula McPherson, question. You've been in the stream for a while. You have a background as a financial advisor. Do you feel that the information I've given is pretty accurate and correct so far? I always like the opinion of professionals like yourself. So just let me know in the chat there. Justin, you just joined. Yes, there is a Facebook group. After the stream, I will verify you to join that. And you're in luck. Tomorrow we have a live webinar training with Awesome Creator Academy members for, I believe we're talking about automation and scheduling. So it's really good for time management because this month we're focused on time management for our training events. So we'll be talking about automation for your business and scheduling and doing your calendar blocking. So yeah. So like I was saying, for me, I use I use a combination of a SEP IRA, which allows me to get the maximum in terms of putting away that money. And yeah, I use the disclaimer that they should speak to a professional. I've used that disclaimer, I think, 50 times in the stream. So I use a SEP IRA. That's what's going to give me the most coverage in terms of tax deductions. And then obviously long term, you want your Roth IRA. And again, just look at where your financial situation is for your age. And then in addition to that, like I said, separate your business accounts and your personal accounts. Look for your maximum deductions. A good bookkeeping service can really help here, and it'll help your accountant or whoever's doing your filing to help you save the maximum so you pay the legal minimum required taxable amount. So that's very important. And I think the main thing that we covered other than that is to remember that all of your income that you earn from your small business ventures on YouTube is taxable, and that you are not an employee of YouTube. You are a small business owner. If this is not a hobby for you, you are an independent contractor, you are a small business owner, you will be taxed accordingly, and YouTube doesn't take out for your Social Security, it doesn't take out for your retirement, it doesn't take out for your state filing income taxes, and it doesn't take out for your federal income taxes. So please make sure that you respect and understand that, and don't go spending your YouTube money. You want to save it, take 30%, put it away for taxes. Recommendation, maybe you put it in a high yield savings account that you still can pull out, and you pay that quarterly. Unless you want to pay it yearly, I recommend quarterly. Again, not a certified public accountant, not a financial advisor. Please talk to a professional. Don't take just advice from people on the internet. But again, I'm walking you through the way that I approach this and why I treat it strictly like a business. I treat it like a business, I respect it as a business, and I pay taxes on it like a business. So there is that. Let's see. Geekdom, you are now a moderator. So there you go. Yes, Kamari Ellis is actually a member of Awesome Creator Academy. He is also a financial advisor. So we have the benefit of having a member of Awesome Creator Academy that is a financial advisor and can speak to this without all the official disclaimers that I go through. I save a lot of my money where I can. And again, I don't really spend money on things besides living expenses. Georgia is actually not too bad. The overhead though, like whenever you have to, like the big thing I think that I spend money on at this point is insurance. besides paying for rent until I buy, it's insurance. And then it's my business expenses, and that's pretty much the big money. And it used to be how much money I spent on Postmates. I've actually been cooking a little bit now, so I've been doing HelloFresh instead of Postmates and actually cooking meals, and I've been doing a little bit of grocery shopping, so I'm saving hella money by not doing Postmates anymore like an idiot and being lazy. So the main thing is to earn as much as you can, save as much as you can, invest as much as you can. It's a very simple formula, my friends. But anyway, I hope I've answered the majority of your questions. I think I went almost like an hour and a half now covering a lot of this stuff. I'm really glad that we finally got to it. And I think this is probably the most comprehensive video that you'll find for YouTubers on like what you need to know about your tax situation. And so I thank you guys for joining me. Again, links are in the description. Support the stream any way you can. Really thankful to have you guys here, and have an amazing day. I'll be back either tomorrow or Wednesday with regular content. So regular content tomorrow, Wednesday. I might try to do a short 18-minute wrap up if I can figure out the biggest points of this stream and do it in 18 minutes. I'll try and do that maybe next week because I know people are looking for the information. I'll probably do some short videos saying, yes, YouTubers pay taxes. I'll probably break it into a few videos, but I just wanted to put this out there for you guys and recommend a few things that can help you with managing your money, filing your taxes, doing your bookkeeping, investing your money. So like I said, links are in the description, guys. I'm just going to update a couple of those links real quick so that you have pretty much everything, including the business book. Like, let's see, invest long term with ACORNS. And like I said, I use ACORNS. I love it. You guys can check it out. It costs you nothing. RobertoBlake.com/ACORNS. I'm going to drop that into the chat for you because I know a couple of you are into it. And if you're not, it's okay. It's fine. But it is practically free money. So you can invest long-term with ACORNS. You get $5, I get $5, and get a free stock when you join Robinhood. So I'm just dropping the links for you guys. I'm also going to drop the link for the Start Your Own Business book. The Start Your Own Business book will really help answer any questions that I haven't answered for you guys. And so that'll help you out. And like I said, for anybody who wants to learn more about growing their online business, you're welcome to join us over at awesomecreatoracademy.com. It has all the information on our group coaching program. And of course, people have the option of working with me one-on-one. You can see what the fees are for that. And again, just really glad to have you guys taking YouTube seriously. I think it's really important for you guys to understand how this works. And remember, I've also linked you over to my YouTube income report for 2019. So I'm going to drop that here. It shows you a breakdown of my YouTube earnings for 2019, and it gives you some insight to the business of running a YouTube channel. I also did a video on that. It was the last video I uploaded, breaking down how that works. And I think you guys will be really surprised at really what goes on in the business of a YouTube channel. And so, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I'm actually going to go eat dinner now, so I don't starve. We got to feed the Roberto here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, go out there and create something awesome today. Wait, missing the O on the Robinhood link? Oh, 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. That's what I get for typing too fast. Sorry about that. Let me drop that there for you guys. So yeah, that's the link for the Robinhood app. So again, you can get a free stock. You get a free stock. I get a free stock. We all get a free stock. The Oprah meme, you know, that Oprah meme, you're like, you get a stock, you get a stock, you get a stock. So like, no. And I think if you guys start learning more about investing, you'll get into it. You'll become obsessed like me. And then you'll just sit there and run compound interest calculators all day. I do plan to do a video about COPPA for, the ACORNS needs a dash in the right place. Hang on. Oops, sorry about that. I do plan to do a video about COPPA. I have some edits that I have to do with my friend Ian Corzine. He is a social media lawyer. So the COPPA video will be coming because we want to do some stuff on that now that COPPA is official and YouTube's rolled out everything. I also want to get the perspective of creators who've been affected by it the most. So we will be doing another update video on COPPA at some point, but I want to just get all the information in one place. And then I need to edit it down to something reasonable. So there will be a YouTube video on COPPA. I just got to edit it to something reasonable. And I want to get Ian's perspective as a lawyer. And I want to get the perspective of YouTube creators that are affected by it. And I want to make sure that you guys are as educated as possible. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, like I said, thanks so much for tuning in. I really got to go. I got to eat. But I've dropped all the links I think we mentioned in the description. And you guys can always feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at Roberto Blake with any questions. So really happy to have you guys here learning about YouTube and the business. Thanks for the compliments on the background lighting. And I'm sorry that the Sony camera froze earlier. I'm going to look into that. I think it really might have just been a potential overheating issue for running it so long, but I'm looking into that. So again, thanks so much, you guys. Stay awesome, and I will catch you on the next video. I am uploading Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now. I'm uploading Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now, but this week I might upload every day this week. So just keep coming back to the channel. There's plenty of content you have not watched. I am sure of it. I'm sure of it. So just keep coming back. Watch some more videos. It does help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate all of you. Stay awesome. Have a good night. We're out.
You're bringing me higher and higher in every way, and all of my doubts, I can feel them, they're fading away. Oh, you're like a fantasy. I know this can't be real. I'm falling way down, all delusional. I got the feeling like I'm lucid dreaming, got me flying high, 'cause I can't believe that I get to have you close. On an endless road, I'm levitating now, in one of those lucid dreams, in one of those lucid dreams. Oh yeah. Wait, you gotta tell me what you did. I saw the world turning in my mind. Oh, yesterday you pulled the rug under my feet. Still I'm trying to wake me up. What if I'm making it